What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's love got to do with it? Everything. Well, our presiding bishop, Michael Curry, lives and preaches it to everyone, from the Queen of England to the lady who owns the garden center near his house. And I know this because I met her. And she asked me if that was our guy. And I said, yes, it is. It's so nice when you can smile and say yes. Love is the center of all that we think, say, and do. I'm sorry, I made her cry. In Hebrew, the heart and the mind are one. St. Paul identifies love as a still more excellent way in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 31. The heart of the chapter 13, verses 1 through 13, is that love is mutual respect for one another. The church in Corinth was conflicted by power struggles and confusion caused by a loveless spirituality. They did not comprehend the notion of spiritual gifts that St. Paul speaks of in chapter 12. In chapter 13, love is an attribute of God and is God's treasured gift found in all humanity. Faith is the foundation and substance of God's message. Hope is the attitude and the focus. And love is the action. In all of today's lessons, true vocation is found in God's calling of Jeremiah, the psalmist, the Corinthians, you and me, and Jesus. Their vocation and ours is the essential expression of our inner beings. Ephesians chapter 3, verse 20 states, "Now to him who is able to do immensely more than all we can ask or imagine, according to his power that is at work within us." This is our vocation, as we are called to step out in faith, trusting that with God's help, our natural ability and talent will be represented to others. That we believe what our baptism declares. We are known, we are claimed, and we are called by God. We are marked as Christ's own forever, as God's children, and we are to spread the good news wherever and however the Spirit urges us. Jeremiah's personality was shy, and his confidence was low. But like you and I, when we allow God's persistent word to be infused into our lives, we can let go and let God. God's hope for each one of us will flourish, and does flourish. The psalmist also was assured of this as he displayed pervasive trust, persistent praise, and that faith which lives amid adversity. We are called to praise God throughout our lives as God's witness. What's love got to do with it? God proclaimed that Jesus was God's Son and that God was well pleased as he was raised from the flowing waters of the Jordan. Jesus' vocation was his inclination and his liberation to preach, teach, and heal his Father's children so that they could love deeply all of God's creation. But there's always that other side of the coin. This inclination also had a gradient that was steep and deadly, beginning in his hometown of Nazareth. We all know that we must not assume, None of us want to be that type of person. Yet we all have in some way questioned how that person could have such wisdom and insight. We know their family. We know where they come from. Jesus knew their understanding of their own heritage because it was his. And he knew they were satisfied. They did not want to remember that outsiders had been brought in along the way, such as Elijah's stay with the widow during the famine. And because of her obedience, she and her whole family were saved. Or Elisha's healing of the Syrian Naaman. Jesus was betraying them by teaching and healing Gentiles. Jesus was doing more than suggesting inclusion of the excluded. He was offering them God's love. This was their love. They were the children of God. But he did it anyway. He offered us God's love. Our true vocation is to do the same and to remember the words of Micah chapter 6, verse 8. And what does the Lord require of you but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God? This is what love has to do with it. Amen.
Amen.